In an effort to watch more anime than I already do, and also generate content for my channel a little faster, I'm starting this new series of videos called First 3, where I watch the first 3 episodes of an anime season I haven't seen yet and determine if I think it's worth continuing with. So let's start off by taking a look at Orange. Orange follows main character Naho as she receives a letter from herself 10 years in the future, requesting her to make certain decisions differently so as to avoid some pretty significant yet vague regrets. The first thing that stood out to me, other than the show looking pretty nice, is the fact that I've never seen this sort of time travel gimmick used to correct such seemingly trivial things. Lend this person a pencil when they forget theirs. Make sure they join the soccer team. Say yes when you're asked to play softball. That sort of thing. It hardly seems to warrant time travel. That all changes when we see the ramifications of Naho failing to act on the letter's first warning. It perfectly predicted everything about the new transfer student, Kakeru, and said they should not invite him to hang out after his first day of school. It turns out that while Kakeru was out having fun with Naho and her friends, his mother committed suicide at home. What's more, by the end of the first episode, Naho finds out that the reason her future self wrote the letter was because she wanted to stop Kakeru's death. At least once per episode, they show us the future. The gang got back together, presumably they drifted apart after high school, but they reunited to celebrate their late friend's birthday and also recover a time capsule they all buried containing notes they all wrote. Kakeru's implying that he might not have died in an accident like they all thought, and he may have taken his own life, sometime after finding his mother. This is the catalyst for the letter to be written and somehow sent back in time. And it really changes the stakes in a way that doesn't work for this show. Until all the death started coming into it, this was a romanticized look at high school with a girl using a magical cheat sheet to navigate through the tiny ins and outs of daily life. The question of, I like this boy, what do I do now, was the biggest concern in the series. But once we find out the point of this letter, that Kakeru is going to die unless Naho prevents it, none of that little stuff stops. Naho is more stressed out over the idea that someone else might date her crush than the fact that her crush won't live to see his next birthday. But the thing that really gets me about this story is the fact that she still hasn't read the entire letter. The letter is multiple pages detailing cherry-picked events that take place on a day-by-day basis. The first day's predictions all come true precisely, and then immediately tell her Kakeru is going to die unless she does something about it. And somehow, her reaction isn't to keep reading the multi-page document that's there to tell her exactly what to do to stop it from happening. The way this show presents it is that she'll read the instructions for the day, act on them, or fail to, and then read the next day as that night. Which makes no sense as something this character would actually do in this situation. I don't know if this changes after episode 3, but I could not believe what I was seeing. Why not multiple letters? Instead of giving her all the information at once and then ignoring it until it's convenient for the plot, just have a new letter arrive each week or something. And I get what they're trying to do. They want to dole out the information slowly so that the characters in the present and future can gradually make their way to a conclusion at the end of the season. They keep showing us the future, where everyone decides to honor Kakeru by going to his old home and having the birthday party for him they never got the chance to back in high school. I'm assuming that if the kids succeed in the past, their adult selves will show up at his house to celebrate with a very alive Kakeru, maybe with their memories being altered accordingly. I don't know for a fact they go that way. It seems like the obvious thing to do, but it's fine. It's just sappy enough to match the tone of this show, and that level of predictability can fit the nostalgic feel-good presentation they're going for in this overall package. What I can't get past is the fact that the main character has all the answers right in front of her all the time and just refuses to read it, because I guess that would fix things too easily. On a more positive note, this show's visual aesthetic is strong. The art style and animation are both very good. Most of the time, the lighting is washed out, giving everything a dreamlike quality. This show romanticizes high school and seems tailor-made for someone with nostalgia for that time in their life. It's kind of funny that this show came out at the same time as Real Life, which is also about revisiting high school, but looks at it in the complete opposite way. Real Life goes for a more authentic high school experience and revolves around the various flaws and shortcomings of its cast. While this introductory scene of the cast of Orange laughing and running joyfully through impossible space should be enough to tell you that this vision of high school is more of an ideal memory than anything else. Which is kind of appropriate since we're dealing with adults interacting with their own distant pasts. So when all's said and done, the first 3 episodes of Orange do a good job of selling its vision of the good old days, but stumble when it's time to deal with the show's core concept. I'm more than willing to give them time travel. I don't even care if we ever find out how they sent the letter back to the past. It's honestly not very important. But they basically gave the protagonist a plot breakdown of the entire season with no apparent regard for what that could, would, or should do to the narrative. Again, maybe this all gets fixed in a spectacular way, and I honestly hope it does, but I find it very, very frustrating. And that's before even taking into account the lack of weight put on death in a story that's supposed to be about preventing it, and instead puts most of the emphasis on a typical teen love story that doesn't gel with the protagonist's mission very well at all. Overall, I think Orange is good enough and interesting enough that I might be motivated to read what happens in a Wikipedia article, but I'm not engaged nearly enough to watch the 10 remaining episodes. If you watch more Orange than I have, by all means tell me how wrong I am in the comments below. And if you'd like to see me talk about an entire season of a show, click the links on screen for my analysis of Flying Witch, Your Lie in April, and Keijo. More first threes and full season videos will be coming soon, so click the subscribe button to make sure you see them when they drop. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.